Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to iHeartRadio. So bad it's good. Today we have, this is my Moby Dick. This is somebody I've been trying to get now for years. And the wild thing, you guys, is, and I don't know if he fully remembers this, is that I didn't even fully remember this. I know Carl from my past. You know him, you love him from Summer House. We've watched him grow. I always say on this show, he is the one shining example of somebody that actually has put the work in. We always talk about these people. They're like, oh, I'm becoming this better person. I'm a work in progress, but we've actually seen this person put in the work. It has been inspiring not only to me, but to everybody out there. But the scary thing is, you guys, I've played basketball with Carl. Not good. I mean, we were there was a team called Vipers Can't Lose back in the day. I went on a party bus with Carl. I follow Carl on Facebook, and I don't even know why I had him on Facebook. But anyways, that's not important. The important part is Summer House Season 7 has premiered now. We're going to talk all about that. Carl Radke, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you. The Vipers were so bad, they were good.
That's it, truly. I mean, Nick Wegner says a huge hello.
Yes.
And
love Nick.
By the way, I don't remember.
I was saying, I haven't talked to Nick in a while. I love Nick, miss him, and Joe, the other tall guy,
Joe Chandler. Yeah,
Joe Chandler. Yes.
They're producers and writers on American Dad now, and they're killing it. But they reminded me that, like, yeah, dude, like, I was the really crappy guy that got kicked off Vipers, and I had to give up my jersey for somebody better. And then I looked on Facebook and I was like, wow, how did I follow Carl? Was this a Bravo thing? And it was like, no, everybody hung out in a group for a couple times, and you all followed each other on Facebook. Anyways, congratulations on everything since Vipers. It looks like you've been on quite a journey, and it's gone good.
It's been quite the journey. Yeah, Nick and I, we worked at Criminal Minds on CBS. He was in the writer's room. I was an assistant for one of the other producers, and yeah, a long history. But no, it's been quite the journey. I've definitely had some people from my past kind of be like, "Is that the same Carl? Like, you look a little different, older."
You didn't have the beard. You really grew into your look, even if I was like looking at pictures of you from season 1 to now, and it really does look intensely different.
Yes. I mean, season 1 started filming in 2016, and I was 30 years old. I'm now 38 years old. So, I've had kind of my formative years. I was a late bloomer, and, it kind of took a little bit to mature. But also I'll say, getting sober, and that also helped my appearance a little bit too.
Just to blow up your ego even a little bit more, I have this productivity app that I got a couple of seasons ago when you started being productive. It's called Done. And I literally have make bed like Carl as one of them. Make bed like Carl. Yes. I have that every day. I woke up early today in Los Angeles, so I haven't started clicking off things. But I remember you going, you got to start with, drink your water, make your bed, go work out. Are these things that you still live by every day?
Yeah, I mean, I think you kind of got to set yourself up for success when you start the morning. I know it's kind of cheesy and kind of ridiculous, but I'd read about it. A former military general wrote a book, and his whole thing was making your bed in the morning. It really established it. It's the first task you accomplish to start the day. It's kind of sets yourself up for further success. It's simple, but it just establishes that. But now that Lindsay and I live together and sleep together, we both make the bed in the morning together. So.
Carl, sometimes making the bed is the only thing I accomplish in the day now. Like, that is pretty much it.
Hey.
Wait, so you're in the actual apartment you share with Lindsay right now. She potentially is in the other room. That is wild. We got
a wall of stuff up here. You can kind of see some things. It's kind of our mixed of our lives. But this is like I have an office guest bedroom that I'm in right now. So yeah,
how has that been, the move-in situation? Because we see in the first episode you guys are living together. The show will already have come out. This will be airing on Tuesday, and she actually surprises you with a nurse's outfit. That's got to be one of the benefits of moving in. Has there been any negative aspects of learning to share your space?
Well, yeah, I mean, she's incredibly organized and clean. I knew that about her prior to moving in. But no, I mean, I think adjusting just to, when you got to go to the bathroom, or you need some private time, or, simple things. But no, we get along incredibly well. I love living with her. We have an amazing apartment, which you guys will see on this season, where we have a housewarming party. at our apartment, which, you know, would be cool for everybody to see. But no, I knew, you know, we knew so much about each other as friends. We lived in the same
Yeah.
apartment building before. So I already knew kind of how she operated living, and I was excited to join forces.
We actually did see you commit to sobriety, I mean, you truly are kind of this, like I said, a shining example for how you can change your life in a positive way. And that's not to take away from any of the struggles that you currently have or face on a daily basis, but it's really nice to have that. And you're able to compare it with other examples, not only on this show, but on Bravo. How hard was it though for you? I always say this, I'm like, I want Carl to come back, but I really just don't want to risk his, I'm always like, I don't want to risk his sobriety. I don't want to, you know, how scary is that for you coming into a season? And even this part of coming into promoting, possibly seeing yourself in memes, people talking about you and discussing your relationships with Kyle and the rest. How stressful is all of this for you?
I mean, it can be stressful. I mean, obviously having a few seasons under our belt, you know, you get kind of used to some of it, but you know, I'm very grateful that I've been able to kind of overcome and be honest with myself about some of the challenges in my life, but it's given me a new lease on, I think, just being a part of Summer House. I love showing the fact that you can still have a good time, still, you know, be social and not get crazily drunk. But yeah, I mean, listen, I had to make some changes in my life because I was, you know, obviously in a very dark place, you know, when my brother passed away, which was kind of covered on season 5.
Yeah.
You know, I really had to, like, it was a huge just shock in my life and a wake up call. And I really feel lucky that I've been able to kind of overcome that and still be able to participate in the show. And I, quite frankly, if I was still partying and drinking, I don't even think I'd be around to be on Summer House. So when people ask me, you know, what's it like? Is it hard being in the house sober? I'm like, no, like I wouldn't be able to be there if I was drinking. So that's, it's been great.
Well, I mean, it's been great. And they always say, or, you know, summer should be fun. And I was watching this premiere episode and there was an intensity to it. There's always an intensity to Summer House, but there's always like this tinge of like 4 boxes, everybody's partying, everybody's doing their thing. But there was, and I know this isn't the entire season, but there was tinges of sadness, not from you, but weirdly from Kyle. We have Kyle doing solo scenes in the kitchen, which is one of the best things he does. But it's like all of a sudden he doesn't have anyone to party with, not just you, but anyone. And we see him just eating food and doing monologues and the normal Kyle thing. Was that interesting for you to watch, or even how intense was that for you to kind of be around that energy? Because that's not even a you thing. It feels like a Kyle thing and you guys are so close.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I think we both came in this summer with some feelings about, you know, where our relationship was as friends, the business side of things. You know, I definitely, you know, was during the spring was just kind of getting to a point where I'm kind of questioning my future. What does my career look like at Loverboy? Is this the best fit for me? Am I in the right role? Kyle and I did talk a little bit before the summer and kind of opened up that door but yeah, I mean, listen, we always had hoped to come to the Summer House and on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, like forget about work and party and have a good time. But you know, me being in a relationship, I've been focused on Lindsay, and Kyle and our friendship's just kind of taken a back seat with professional stuff and all that. So it is sad to see Kyle kind of like, you know, in the kitchen by himself, not really having anybody. But, you know, I think you'll see throughout the season, you know, there is so much love between Kyle and I, and we still are able to have a good time. But there was some conversations that kind of needed to happen. And unfortunately, it kind of came to a head, you know, in the summer, and even the first weekend. You know, I didn't expect it to be as intense or as maybe difficult, but it was, because it's someone I love. Kyle. I care about the guy. We've been through so much together, but at the end of the day, like I've been through a lot of life changes and transition. I know he's married now, and it's only natural for things to grow and evolve. There's some growing pains in doing that.
And he's a father of dogs now. I mean, everything's how, you know, but the first episode, you guys have seen it by now, it really is. You guys jump into this, you know, there's talk about Loverboy and he's, you know, and it's funny for Bravo audiences because we are so used to, and we appreciate our friendships and especially our male bro friendships. It's like, no, it's so weird. We almost judge them harder than we do the female male relationships. It's like you have this beautiful relationship with Lindsay, which we get to see so many examples in the first episode of how amazing that's going. But we're like, is Carl and Kyle broke up? Are they okay? I took it personally. I was like, I hope they get back together. I hope everything's okay. And you're saying that throughout the summer, we will get to see that and hopefully land on a positive note.
Yeah. I mean, listen, Kyle with any, I mean, we've really up until this season have not really had a lot of conflict. I've always, Kyle and I have always had a bond, and we've had each other's backs. Certainly, throughout the last couple of seasons, he's been incredibly supportive. After the loss of my brother, and then he was getting married, and I was a big part of his wedding by officiating. And yeah, like there's so much love and respect there. But there's been things that are hard with the business, and working with your friends isn't easy. And Lindsay and Amanda at odds sometimes has been challenging with our, the four of us together. But again, there's love between Amanda and Lindsay, so much love, because we've done all this stuff together for so long. Yeah, I mean, you'll see how it kind of plays out, and it's going to be hard to watch. I'm not going to lie, but Kyle and I got dinner the other night, and like you said,
okay, good.
Like we're cool. Good. Like we're going to be fine. I love the guy. He's one of the most energetic, charismatic people I know. He's a lot of fun to party with.
Yeah, truly.
He really, but he's gotten a lot more, I think, sensitive in a way because of his dogs. You learn how to humble yourself a little bit with, how you react to things. So he softened up a tiny bit because of the dogs. That's for sure.
I found it funny that I was worrying more about your guys' relationship than you and Lindsay, because I was like, oh, you and Lindsay are great. You guys are fine. Like, well, speaking of the first episode, though, we have Maya situation where were you surprised that Maya got so emotional in the fact of not being able to talk to you or she says smoke a J or anything like that? And then we kind of get her perspective first, and then we see Lindsay explain things, and it's like, oh, yeah, like Lindsay's like kind of standing up for her dude. I like Maya a lot, but was that surprising to watch back for you?
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing was definitely a little surprising. I mean, I love Maya. Maya's been a great addition to our group. She's been someone I leaned on the first summer she was there. I mean, we both were kind of feeling out, differences in the house, and she was someone we were friends, and after that season, we hung out a few times with the group. We would text here and there, but this deep bond friendship where we hung out all the time, like that wasn't really the case. So I was a little surprised to hear she was feeling the way she was. I know Lindsay and her had a conversation in Los Angeles during Family Feud, which, was seen a little bit as uncomfortable for Maya, but Lindsay just kind of being calm and trying to just be like, hey, like, I think it's a little weird that you're trying to hit up Carl without me in the loop. I also thought it was a little strange. Like I was in another Uber with Andrea and Alex leaving Family Feud, and I get a text from Maya. She's in the car with Lindsay. It just was kind of strange. I don't know. I just kind of assumed it would all kind of fade away and we'd walk into the summer and everything would be fine. But I will say Maya and Lindsay, they talked through everything. Maya was actually a very good support system throughout the rest of the summer this year, because she kind of was able to look at both sides. Like she would obviously hear some of the other girls talking. She would also ask our opinions and hear our perspective. And that's exactly what we're hoping for, is not just this one-sided thing. And she was very open-minded and supportive. So, I mean, listen, I love Maya. We love her cookies.
I love Maya too. Like I was shocked to see those scenes, and she got really emotional, and I was like, no. And I mean, there's no issues with Maya at all. I just thought it was interesting kind of thing to hit on the first episode. How tired are you of like people asking how many sandwiches have you made for Lindsay? And I mean, is it funny how many things go along these seasons now that we pick up on and we keep shouting out at you?
It's unbelievable. I'm not sick of this sandwich. I mean, it's funny. My response to the sandwiches is I always say, like, I make her full meals, not just sandwiches. She's
yes,
we were at some Loverboy events this last year, and it was just me and Lindsay we were in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, and a woman brought like this long Italian sub to the meet and greet with her and gave us the sandwich. We've had more than one occasion where people have brought sandwiches to like meet and greets or events we've done. I mean, listen, the best medicine is to laugh about it. It is an iconic moment where she's yelling. It wasn't actually at me; it was at Stravy. But if you go back to season 4, her other iconic "Don't Activate Me" was actually in response to me being a total asshole to her.
Oh, so, we remember, Carl. Like,
so I guess I'm
the
the
fact that you guys did this.
Go ahead.
Well, I mean, do you think do we get any other Lindsay-isms this season? Or now when you're in a conversation with Lindsay and there aren't cameras there and you're like, damn, that would have been good on camera. Like, I mean, if you even have an argument, do you then look at it through a reality show lens of like, damn, I'm so glad 3 cameras aren't here right now,
Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes it's nice to have some privacy. We put it all out there, but yeah, Lindsay's whole. I mean, she makes me laugh all the time, and it
Dude,
could
she
be,
makes me laugh. Yeah.
obviously when she's emotional and she has her voice, and I love when she gets passionate. But yeah, I mean, listen, she has a lot of funny commentary, and when we're having maybe some difficult moments, I'm also sometimes very glad we're not on camera because it's just hard to navigate. We're humans. We have our differences sometimes, but we're very happy. We work hard at our relationship. But yeah, maybe there will be some iconic lines this season. You don't really know until after like it comes out. Like in the moment, no one's ever been like, oh, that "don't activate me" is going to be like a thing. I
Yeah.
just knew she was really pissed off and like about to like, start a fight. And I just was like, okay, I'm going to back off now.
I think it's different for the Bravo audiences to see an actual relationship built on friendship. We always have like one night stands or things like that don't last. And now this combined with you becoming this kind of better, more productive person in so many ways of your life has been a really interesting, like I keep saying, I think it's one of the shining examples on Bravo of things done in a potentially right way. You might sacrifice short-term fun for long-term happiness, but it's really, really refreshing to see. Some of the thoughts on the first episode of people that weren't there. Do you play guitar and build the fire at all? Because Luke is sorely missed. I just need somebody strumming a guitar.
I wish we had a guitar actually. There's not a guitar. I used to play like Weezer or like Oasis Wonderwall in college on the guitar. But I am happy to report I do build fires. I take over the reins for Luke. It's going to be a different season because it's Kyle and I, and then Chris, who's a new friend of ours, joining the group. And then it's just the three guys, and then we'll have I think some other appearances you might.
I think Craig and Corey come in there from what we've seen of the previews. What are your thoughts on Craig and Paige? By the way, you've had a relationship with Paige for these past couple of seasons. Now watching her get in a relationship and somebody that's actually in Bravo dealing with some of the same things you guys are dealing with. What has that been like? And have you noticed it's changed Paige in any way?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm a huge fan of Paige. Obviously, we have a friendship and a lot of a bond over the last 5-6. She's been on 5 or 6 seasons now, and yeah, like I'm happy as hell for her and Craig. I think they make each other happy. They look perfect for each other. We had a fortunate thing to go to the MTV Awards in June, where Paige was there with Craig, and Lindsay and I were there together, and we sat at the same table, and it was just fun to be kind of in this like cool environment and world where we're peers and we're in this, kind of being celebrated for being, a reality show that people love. No, I love those two. I think they're a great couple. I mean, I know it's going to be hard for them to navigate the Bravo. She's probably doing Southern Charm again this season. Obviously they've been a big part of Winter House. It's hard. So I think there's a lot more understanding of like when you're a couple in Bravo, I've always felt for Kyle and Amanda. I've always felt bad in some ways because it's hard when you put it all out there, and they've had a lot of ups and downs. So it'll be interesting to see Paige's journey this summer. I mean, I wasn't privy to all the conversations, but Craig did come, and we had a lot of fun actually this summer. There wasn't like it was the previous summer when Craig and Austin. It was much lighter.
I mean, dude, last season was insane on so many ways. And it wasn't like, obviously it wasn't you and stuff like that, but watching Austin do what he was in full Austin mode in a certain time of his life. And and speaking of that, on Winter House, you guys pop by. What's it like though, to get set up in those situations where all of a sudden you're having to hear potential rumors about Austin and all of this stuff? I can't imagine how uncomfortable that is to do on camera. Is it as uncomfortable as we possibly think it is to have to deal with those things and say the right things in those moments? And especially when you have a relationship with Austin?
Yeah, it definitely, it's tough. I mean, it's human nature to feel maybe some uncomfort just with difficult things, but Lindsay and I have always had a very open dialogue. I knew she, after Kyle and Amanda's wedding, went back to his room and they just passed out. They're very close and friends. I didn't have any concerns. No, I mean, listen, there's certain aspects sometimes you wish you may have said something different or held your ground harder, but I think a part of being in my sobriety is where I'm a little more calm, a little more thoughtful, and try to listen and understand. And I think that's given me a lot of latitude to try and hear both sides and not get too worked up. I understand what we're doing here. We're making a TV show and you need to talk about things. But yeah,
But we also
listen,
want it to be based in reality.
yeah, like sometimes you need to separate stuff and, kind of go, okay, like I know this is a little bit overwhelming, but it is what it is. I try to be open-minded about it and not there's certainly been things in the way past that like really were difficult, but something like this, it's like, I believe Lindsay, I trust her. I know there's some shit stirring and some pot stirring, and that's just kind of the nature of some of these shows sometimes.
So you've never had to slam Austin against a wall?
No, and honestly, I've listen, I know what it's like to be one of the fuck boys on Bravo. And listen, I think Austin, has a good heart. He certainly is. He's a good guy. I think he's definitely, he's navigating his maturity and growth on a couple different shows, which is not easy. But I love Austin. I think he'll make some progress. And we've talked like personally, just like giving him some thoughts about my own journey and where I'm at and how I've been able to kind of navigate stuff. But he's a human being, man. He's made mistakes.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping for Austin like 6.0 to come out.
I got about 8 more minutes with you. Okay. What do you hope people come away from season 7 with? What do you hope? And what did you come away with this season with? I mean,
I hope I think the audience will really understand, I think, more about Kyle and I, the friendship, the business side. I think you're going to really, you're going to learn a lot more about the Danielle and Lindsay aspect of things. I think it was difficult and complicated, but my ultimate hope at the end of this season is that we all get together at the reunion and we all just hug it out, chop it up, and like move on. Because I think there's so much love between, the core group, and we've had so much fun, man. We've had a ton of incredible parties.
We've seen it, yeah.
And it's just it'd be crazy not to be optimistic about people coming back together. And I don't think Lindsay and Danielle are done forever. I think they can maybe come to an understanding at some point and reconvene. I know Kyle and I we're in an okay place. Like we're gonna be fine. But most importantly, I think the biggest thing this season though is you're gonna see me propose to Lindsay, which I'm really excited about.
What? Are you kidding me? We kind of see that. I mean, that you opened up 2 lines of questioning that I was kind of scared to, was the Danielle and the marriage, but would you consider showing your wedding on Bravo? Like we saw Kyle and Amanda's. Will we get a Carl Lindsay wedding on this show, or even a spinoff series? I thought you guys were doing a spinoff series when you went overseas. In fact, I was like, dude, they're shooting a travel show. I know they are. And that wasn't the case. Cause you met up with one of the producers. You met up with Ian, I think. And stuff. So I was like, no, they're totally shooting.
That would be an amazing thing to do, as like a travel show. But no, I mean, listen, Lindsay and I have been on from day one, and you've seen a lot of different aspects of our lives in the journey we've been on, different relationships, different, career changes. It would be crazy not to see us actually get married on camera. So I'm very optimistic Bravo is going to want to film our wedding.
You're banking on it. Yeah.
we want them there, but listen, I mean, the audience, it would be crazy. Like you get to see our engagement, you get to see like us all the way to this point, and then all of a sudden to not see the wedding day on camera, I think would be a little, disservice to the audience. So we're fully open to doing that. We've talked to some of the, producer people about, what we're thinking and planning. We're looking at maybe, 9 months from now, like November. We're still working out some details on the venue and stuff, but yeah, like we're moving full force with planning the wedding, and hopefully the cameras will be there.
Would you consider having Kyle officiate?
I've thought about it, but it's not a shade at him. I think there's no like rule of like, if I officiate your wedding, you got to officiate mine.
That's a law, dude. That's a law at the Summer House. That is the law of the Summer House.
No, I want him to be a part of it in some capacity, but I think we're still talking about the officiant stuff. I mean, Captain Lee was a name has been brought up. He's a very dear friend and a mentor to me. We actually got lunch with him in Fort Lauderdale on Thanksgiving, or during Thanksgiving, Lindsay and I. So we've built more of a face relationship with him, and he might be someone.
We love that relationship. You guys know of his relationship with Captain Lee. In fact, this week we heard the rumor, I don't know if it's true, that he might not be on Below Deck anymore, which would just be insanely horrible. I hope that's not true, even though I think it might be. But the relationship you guys have formed is really kind of this beautiful one, and I love how he speaks about you. It's always with such admiration and respect, and it's cool that you guys have carried that over into fully real life and not just reality show life.
Yeah, he's been someone, I've looked up to him even before I knew him. him. His little quips and one-liners remind me of like my grandfather or my dad. But he kind of took me under his arm, and when my brother had passed, he reached out to me. I didn't know he was going to do that, but it was really touching for him to do that, and we started a FaceTime relationship from there. And I've really leaned on him just in some of these transitions and dealing with grief and the passing of my brother that was so public on the show. He's been just an unbelievable support. And then, oh, by the way, he's like a Bravo legend, and I have a lot of respect for the males. Obviously Bravo is known for a lot of these amazing women and iconic housewives, but there's some amazing Bravo males. And I think Captain Lee's at the top of the totem pole, who's just a really good man. He brings a lot to hit that show, and he's, been doing it for maybe 12 or 13 seasons. So it would be sad to hear if he's moving on, but maybe we can get him to visit the summer house this season coming up if we do.
I also love that he's potentially one of the captains of your life now. And but also I saw him at BravoCon, you guys, and I said this, it was so refreshing. Like I saw him like off, not being on, and he was with his wife, and he was treating his wife like she was this queen, like he does, even talking about her on the show. And I was like, dude, this guy truly is in love with this woman. And it was just the cutest thing. Now it's creepy that I'm saying I just watched them, but it was the cutest thing to watch them, and they were like still madly in love, it seemed like. And that wasn't at the actual convention. It was just, they were having coffee or something. And I was like, this is so cool. Okay. Finally, the Danielle thing, you said that is a work in progress, but I know you're friends with Danielle too. So we do see some movement potentially on that this season, because we still don't know what all of this is about.
Yeah, you'll learn more about, I think, just things that Danielle was feeling, and then things that Lindsay, kind of encountered. It's tough. Obviously when you get into a serious relationship, and Danielle was with Robert, things change a little bit. And I had always embraced, the change, and, sometimes change can be polarizing and challenging. But Danielle and Lindsay they've had so much history together. They are best friends, and I know they both, are feeling certain ways, but I think ultimately, the audience will see kind of how it plays out. I'm just more putting it out in the universe. I'm hoping that, they can come together at some point and hash it out. Like, I don't think
they're like you and Kyle for us. Like, we want you guys to be okay at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But we also realize you have real life situations that we don't fully know about. Last two questions. What are you doing tonight? And what does the summer house smell like after a big party? It just feels like it smells like a wreck.
Yeah. Well, I'll start tonight. Me and Lindsay are going to, we're going to go on a little date night after we're doing a live podcast for Page 6.
Danny and Evan. I love those guys. Yeah.
Yes. We're going to be on that with Melissa and Joe Gorga and Dolores and Paul, I believe. And then Gertie and another, her husband. So it'll be a nice mix. We'll be with some friends, but yeah, we're excited about the podcast. But then your last question, which is, what does the summer house smell like? At times it literally smells like bacon, lover boy, and like sweat and then the girls do smell good. So you get like the mix of like a nice perfume, and then just like straight like old lover boy.
Oh man. And when Alex was there, it was a lot of ground turkey as well. Carl, thank you so much for being here. You truly are a hero and a shining example, and somebody that actually personally does inspire me. That's not a joke. You guys have heard me say it on the show many times. Please tell Lindsay I said hello. She was on the show once and showed me her journal, her 7-year plan that she had showed once on the show. And now you are part of her future and her life. And that is so really cool to see from the friendship. Carl Radke, go support this season of Summer House. It starts a little sad, but I know it is going to get so good. So
it'll get good.
We are here for the journey.
Lindsay does say hello. She's in the other room, and she wanted me to make sure I told you that she says hi. She's a big fan of you.
Thank you, Carl. I really appreciate today.
Appreciate it, Ryan. Have a good one, man. And tell Nick and Joe I said what's up.
Basketball buddies. Okay.